Now that my underpainting's dry, I'll start to develop the first layer of grasses. I'm going to bite into the top edge to define them. And I'm using a little bit of cerulean blue because I want the cool color to push back. And all I'm going to do is just cut the very top edge here. A little cerulean, a little raw sienna. And I won't develop it the whole way across. All I want to do is capture a few little edges. There's some blue that moves down here, so I'll take advantage of that and bring the grasses down to that level. There we go. And wash this upper edge away. All right, and I think I'll cut into this with the orange to bring the orange over. I'm working upside down. And I want to just have a little rim of color, so I'll drop some nice bright orange in there. There we go. All right, at this point, the strips that I've made are fairly even, so I want to make an adjustment so that they're not all exactly the same. So that means cutting down into one of them a little bit more. Let's take it down right about here with some raw sienna and some raw umber. Again, I'm just using the colors that are already in the painting. I'm not going to be introducing anything new into this piece. Bring this up by cutting behind it. A little bit of a change in direction of the brush stroke. I want everything going the same way. Alright, while that's drying, let's move up, and I'm going to start to establish some of the tree forms by cutting around them. So that I'm going to bring a row down here with the trees. I've got a little bit of that violet color right here, the top edge of the trees, and that's what I'm going to be cutting here. It's the top edge of a tree forms. A little bit of nice warm color, pulling it down. I'm thinking about the large shape that I'm making rather than the details. There we go. Let's bring a small row across here. We've got some cerulean blue and violet already on my underpainting, so I'm just going to repeat those colors. This is dry, so I'll cut into this layer of trees right here. So this will be a front layer, now another section going back, and I like this blue that's on here. So I'll just continue to use that, add a little bit of raw umber with it, darken it down. Oh, we're still damp, so I'll just drop it in and let it be a soft edge and clean it up later. There it goes. So I think I'll leave that. You can see that the trees are coming forward. All right, let's start working in this section here. I'd like to build up some tree trunks and some branches. So I'll bring them up through here. And I paint them the way that they grow, so I'm going to put them back and move them up. Again, repeating the color that's already there. I'm just going to do it with fairly delicate color because I'll be able to do more layers. That's too dark. You can see the value contrast here. This is too extreme. I don't want to go that dark this quickly. So I'll just add a little water. There's the edge of the tree. I'll take a little bit of this orange too and just hit it there on the edge. There we go. And I'll put another little tree right here. Different thickness in the trunk. And let's put a bigger space before I bring in another one. So what you're looking at now are the spaces between the trees. Trunks come forward as I glaze around them. Use a little bit of this color and I'll cut in. Use the side of my brush to make my shape. I like this bit of violet here, so I think I'll drop just a bit of it under here too. That's still damp, so let's bring just a little bit of color down in here. Carry this bit of orange and red over. I'm working back and forth between the foreground and the background, mainly because I'm waiting for this area to dry. So by working around your painting, you don't have to be stopping and drying it out every few minutes. Just work back and forth. I'm going to wash it away. We've got a bit of a hillside coming down through here that I've cut behind. It needs to disappear here behind a section of little bushes, so let's get that in right now. And I will use some raw sienna, again with a little cerulean. This color combination works really well to push back. There we go. And let's cut into that with a little bit of orange and red. A little bit of bright color is pretty in there, so I think I'll leave it, at least for the time being. I can always soften it down later, but I like it for the time. All right. So we're getting a little bit of color rims on here. I'm going to leave this to set up for a few minutes. Let's get back to this piece now that it's well set up and dry. All right, let's move back a layer. I'm going to put just a few little trees back in this area. Cool colors. Cut another layer of trees in behind this first set. Let's just work in a few little edges down here, just to break up this large space a bit while I'm waiting for that upper area to dry. And very fine little things down in here, just to make it interesting. I'm not painting a particular kind of bush or tree. I'm just trying to give the suggestion of a few things, a few naturalistic forms. Things that you might see when you're out for a drive in the country or for a walk. A little more interesting. The eye actively searches around the painting to find hard edges to land on or rest on, and then it jumps from one hard edge to another. So I have to be sure and provide enough for the eye to use. I've got a really hard little area in here, a bright area. I think I'll juice this up a little bit here too, just to take the eye out this way. We're not just stuck in the middle. It's quite strong, so let's wash it out. That's better. So I have lots of shapes moving this way, and I've got a few verticals in here as well to help stabilize it. Well, before I work any longer, I'm going to have to dry it again. We're going to get back to our painting now that it's dry. And I'm going to pull a few more shapes forward. I'd like to pull this tree forward. So I'll just glaze behind it with a little bit of color. There it goes. It moves forward. This tree trunk will be moved back a little bit then. And I don't like this large shape here in the center of my piece, so I'm going to just break it up a little bit. I think I'll extend the line across here. Got a lot of movement going this way. So let's pull something across the other direction to help balance it out, like so. And I'll drop a little bit of the blue in here, just to make it look a little more violet and push it back. And create a little interest on that edge. Back behind that tree. I think that's better. A little too red. Tone it down with some orange. And again, wash the color out. Right, let's get this upper edge developed. So there's another mass of tree forms back here, and I will suggest that by cutting behind it with the same color that I want to use in the sky. So we'll bring this out. I don't want to completely lose the soft transition here in the blue, so I'll just work like this. How far over do I want to go? Let's take it right down to about here. And then I have some of the raw umber. I'll cut around these tree tops with that just to define them a little bit. And soften it out so that the trees disappear back there. I'll drop some blue in right there at that edge to push it back. Now you can spend a lot of time working in the fine branches, just like we did in the last little project where you were building the layers in the negative of the skeletal formation of the tree. You can put the little twigs in, but I'm going to leave this. I like the big shapes. We're dry there, so I'll pop in just a couple of spots of cool here to tie in with the sky a bit. Warm it up a wee bit so it doesn't look too blue sitting there. Pull that blue and that blue. I'd like to add a little pastel here to enhance the surface. So I'll just use some of the colors that are already in the piece. And I have some pastel pencils as well as sticks. So I'd like to just use a little bit of this blue just to catch a bit of color along the rim. So I'll just scratch it onto the surface. Working in watercolor and pastel this way, you can carry on for a long time building your edges and your shapes and cutting in descriptive forms. But I think that you probably have the idea of what I'm after here. Thinking and seeing in an altogether different way takes both patience and persistence. After all, you've been viewing the world around you in your own particular way all of your life. All of the images in this video have been created in the negative. However, feel free to combine these ideas with your own particular way of painting to make your own personal style. I do hope that you've enjoyed watching and that you'll feel inspired to try painting outside the lines. Remember, think positive and paint negative.
Now available on DVD. Try these techniques yourself at home whenever you wish. The extended version of today's workshop is now available to order on DVD from the Painting and Drawing channel. For further information and to order your copy, go to www.paintingdrawingchannel.com.